Ah, another great meal at Pontius Pilate's Sports Bar and Grill.
So great to get away from the other disciples, even just for a few hours. Right, Matthew?
Yeah, Mark, totally. It's nice to just be our own little clique, you know?
Yeah, and I gotta say, the excerpts you read of that new gospel you're working on sounded great.
Aw, thanks. Well, I hope it turns out as good as yours. What did you think about it, Judas? Judas?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing. I mean, I was just wondering what you thought of my new gospel.
Oh, yeah. It was, there's a lot of words, different situations, pretty sure.
Thanks, I guess.
Is everything okay, Judas? You seemed kind of far away all dinner.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, everything's going on. It's just, it's a lot.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. So are we good paying this check for the dinner?
Yeah, I think so. I put in mine plus a little bit of extra silver for the surf.
It doesn't seem like enough. Judas, did you pay for yours?
What's that? Guys, I'm sorry. I got a jet. Look, my camel's here. Pleasure. Let's do it again. I'll see you back at the spot.
Hey, wait.
Wow, super weird of him.
Yeah, I feel a bit betrayed.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Well, have you heard any good podcasts lately?
Yeah, actually, there's this new one, Boys Bible Study. They talk about us in an episode, actually.
Really? I didn't know we were blowing up like that.
Yeah, man, it's getting legit out there. Actually, the bonus episodes are better. You just have to go to patreon.com/boysbiblestudy to get them.
Yeah, look at that. Only $5 a month?
Yeah, just $5 and you get access to the full catalog of bonus episodes. The guys are pretty funny too. I don't know. I like them.
Hey, should we do a podcast?
Nah, I'm good. Welcome back to Boys Bible Study. This is a special episode. We are celebrating a year of Boys Bible Study.
Hot dog.
Yes.
Hot God.
Yes. Our first episode was released on December 18th, 2019. It has been just a little bit over a year. So we're celebrating today with a roundup meta conversation about Christian film in general that we hope will entertain and enlighten you. As always, I'm Ash. I'm here with my co-hosts,
Scott
and Julian.
Hey, well, I wanted to start off just by saying a little fun fact about the origin of the pod. The three of us have always been really into watching Christian films. I met Scott through his background working with Everything is Terrible, who of course are legendary collectors and re-editors of found footage and forgotten films over the years. Julian, we both met through your work and comedy and music videos and lots of stuff in the LA scene here. And we all sort of bonded initially over our love for this kind of media. And what happened was in 2019, briefly, we've always been watching Christian films, but in 2019, for whatever reason, I started showing Christian films every week. Julian and I were doing it, and we actually had a group chat called Boys Bible Study, where we would invite various people to come. When we decided to start this podcast, turns out the name was available, which really surprised me and all of us. So now we are Boys Bible Study, and this is our show. We're very grateful. And we're proud. And
you're going to get doxxed now that you've let all this information out.
Listen, our name's already in the book of life. Anyone can just look at that and see what's going on. But yeah, we're so grateful for the people we've met through this over the year. 4 more years, that's what I say. But yeah,
our laundry's done.
Ooh,
sorry.
Well, that's a miracle. Just 2 more miracles and you'll be a saint, my friend. Yeah, our first episode, the tail end of 2019, was on the movie Last Ounce of Courage, one of Julian's finds. That's just simply an incredible film. Just some other little stats. The oldest film we've ever watched together was made in 1964, the short film Parable. And we've also, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we covered several films from 2020. These very contemporary films that we covered: Assassin 33 AD.
That one wasn't even out yet.
Oh yeah, when we
watched it.
Yeah, just to brag, when we got an advanced copy of Assassin 33 AD, it was not even out yet. We got it in 2019 from an insider, from an industry insider.
So forget if there was another podcast that covered it, just forget them. We were the first.
Just unsubscribe. We were the first. We are the alpha and the omega. And also Heaven Quest, I Still Believe, Beckman, and Mayflower 2 are all films that came out this year. So that was just, some stats. What I think we're going to do today to commemorate this 1 year, we're going to, like I said, have a meta conversation about the Christian film scene. We're also going to do sort of our own Oscars ceremony. We made a bunch of categories. We shortlisted our favorite films. We amongst ourselves are going to talk about it, pick some winners, and we'll play a lot of clips from all the movies. We'll be throwing out the names of a lot of different movies, so I hope it's not too confusing for anyone listening. Instead, we hope it'll lead you to dig into our back catalog or check out one of these films if you haven't listened to its corresponding episode yet. Maybe you'll get exposed to it today. So I wanted to start, guys. I was thinking we could start by just talking about various tropes that we've encountered through watching all these films. I have a couple written down. Feel free to chime in with any. The first one, let's discuss and give some examples. I call the Bob Revere, aka the perfect man.
Our freedoms are being taken away from us one by one. Well, that's how we're taking them back, one at a time. We're going to start with Christmas.
Let's talk about that. What do we know about Bob Revere?
That's like the middle-aged, badass white dude. He's always right. He's just so milquetoast that he's like the thing through which all of culture in the film is processed through. He's the baseline.
He's a family man. He's a good man. He does no wrong.
He is what you are supposed to be. He's who you're rooting for.
And he fears nothing except God.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we got that idea. We named that trope based on the first film we ever did for this podcast, Last Ounce of Courage, which stars Marshall Teague as Bob Revere. And first of all, it's so on point that his last name is Revere in the context of the film. It's in that film, he is just it's so funny. He's in the setting of the film, he's the mayor, the pharmacist, and he also spends all day riding around on a motorcycle with an American flag. He has absolutely no flaws. Anyone who disagrees with him is wrong. And if you watch the movie, it's just immediately assumed you are rooting for him and you see yourself in him.
And he is the gold standard for this type of character, in our opinion, because this type of character pops up in Christian movies quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of our other films where we might have encountered a perfect guy.
Overcomers like that, like his only flaws, that he cares too much.
Right. Yeah. Overcomer, the Kendrick brothers film about the cross country team. There's a coach.
Yeah.
And yeah, he that coach is the main character, and he's totally perfect.
Every Kendrick brothers movie where the one Kendrick brother is the star, he's always that guy.
Amerigeddon as well.
Yeah, Amerigeddon, that's a big one.
Yeah, we can give the Kendrick brothers that credit, at least. They're a little dopier.
Yeah, and they lean into the dopiness, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, but ultimately they're doing that because they want to set up that, of course I'm on this guy's side. I trust this guy. He talks like this.
Yeah, he's a little more of a like a realistic everyman. But yeah, he's still God-fearing, loves his family. His kids don't understand him, but that's like on them. Like he's trying his best. His kids are just like teenagers and they don't really understand.
Is the time changer, would you consider that guy the perfect man?
Yeah, that's another scenario totally where his only flaw is that like he didn't like think of something. Like
his only flaw is he's from the past.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That lead in time changer. Yeah. He time travels from the past, I don't know, maybe the like 19th century to the present. And yeah, the whole time he spends the entire movie in a state of like righteous, like outrage at everything he sees. He's just like,
young ladies, excuse me, but I could not help but overhear your conversation, and I am shocked at what you were saying.
And I guess we're supposed to, as the audience, like just agree and be like, wow, I would feel like that too if I were him. But it's just like, it's just so fucking annoying. Like he's just completely outraged the entire time. So yeah, like quite a bit going on with that. I'm sure even more will come up as we're talking. Another trope that I definitely wanted to make sure we mentioned, I call the car crash. And I call it that because it's often literally a car crash. But to me, the car crash could refer to any sudden death in a movie or really extreme life change that you don't see coming in the movie. And all of a sudden it just like hits. And it usually provides an immediate surprise plot twist and functions to remind us of, the chaos of life or the uncertainty of the future. What are some good car crashes we've seen over the last year?
Well, my favorite is in that, well, I won't say which part of the movie, but in The Penny.
The Penny. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was a good car crash. I mean, it's oftentimes a car crash, but other times it's like a terminal illness. And in Let There Be Light, you get both.
Yes. Okay.
That's true.
That's why Let There Be Light, which we will have lots more to say going on, especially when we get to our awards ceremony. I have a feeling that's going to be in a couple short lists, but the 2017 Kevin Sorbo directed and starring film Let There Be Light gives us not only a car crash, not only an atheist car crash.
Yeah. You want me to call you. See, that's how desperate you are. You want me.
But also the wife just developing cancer out of nowhere. Like, we have to just do some spoilers. We're gonna just we have to just for critical purposes. And I will say, like,
say after the fact that they're spoilers.
Yeah, we'll say. Oh, by the way, that was a spoiler. But I love Let There Be Light is amazing because they're just having a normal family conversation, and all of a sudden the wife is just like. Blah, blah. And they're like, what?
Probably calls for a raise in a...
Mom?
It probably calls for a raise...
Okay, Katie.
Mom?
Katie!
Mom? Mom!
Dad, what's happening to Mom?
Gus, call 911.
And she just collapses, and all of a sudden she has a brain tumor. It's like, what? Oh, so fantastic.
And there's that both happens in The Penny as well.
Oh, the Daylight
You're
Zone, was that a
right.
car accident?
Oh, yeah,
There was definitely some wacky car stuff going on.
Is he like fainted in his car or something?
Yeah.
No, he gets...
Oh, sorry.
Well, we're not sure because he gets pulled out of his car by the Centurions.
Yeah, in the Daylight Zone, which is a Cristiano Brothers short film. Also...
A-cab.
Yeah. All Cristianos are bastards. Is that what that means?
All Centurions.
All Centurions.
Yeah.
In that film, that film is interesting. It's an odd one out. It combines tropes in an interesting way because there is a car crash. It's not quite the like come to Jesus car crash, but there's also a time travel element, which is a common trope, and there's a visiting Bible times and being out of place in Bible times element, which is a common trope.
Pay your taxes to Caesar before you enter Jerusalem.
What?
Your taxes to Caesar. Pay up.
What are you talking about? I'm not going to Jerusalem. I'm going to Johnson City.
We've got another tax evader over here.
So that one, even for a short film, like really has a way of blending them all together.
Lay It Down.
Lay It Down. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Lay It Down is I believe a film from the 2000s, maybe 2010, and that one's actually
2001.
It's 2001. Okay, yeah, it's more of a Y2K era. But that film is all about Christian street racers.
I said I'd go one race with him. I made a deal that if I go one race, no matter who wins, I can have him and everyone he's hanging with listen to me share the gospel with them.
So I guess it's like you might have a little more of a feeling that a car crash is going to come in, but that movie you got to see to believe, because it's still it really they get you good in that movie. Like it is a surprise.
It is, yeah. Considering they're racing cars for half the movie, it is still surprising.
Yeah.
Did suing the devil, his girlfriend had cancer?
Oh yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
And she was keeping it a secret.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Dying of cancer. Why didn't you tell me?
You just had so much on your plate. You know what? I want you to do this trial, okay? I want you to win it.
Yeah, actually, if we had an award for most casual cancer, that would go to suing the devil.
Yeah.
Let's just, you know what? That's one of the pre-ceremony. That's one of the ones they give out like before the ceremony, and it flashes on the screen.
The Daytime Boys
Yeah.
Bible Study Awards.
The Daytime Bible Boy Awards. Yeah. We give out most casual cancer drop to the supporting actress of Suing the Devil. Suing the Devil, of course, is the Australian film about a man who decides to sue the devil. The devil's played by Malcolm McDowell. And how does that even happen? She's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I never told you, but I have terminal cancer.
She didn't want to distract him in the middle of his
suing the devil
big trial.
Yeah. His loving, doting wife didn't want to bother him.
I know you're having so much fun suing the devil.
But that's one of those ones too. We've seen this happen a number of times where someone has like just a little bit of a cough, like, and then you're like, oh shit, they're gonna die.
Yeah, they're dead. They're done for.
I feel like even beyond the car crash or the terminal illness, I think like Chekhov's cough is like a good Christian movie trope as well. They're like, you're like in the first act of a movie and someone coughs once and the person's like, oh, are you okay? And they're like, oh yeah, I just have some allergies.
Or they have or they're like rubbing their temples or something.
Yeah.
I have a headache.
Did we say the penny, the mom and the penny, right?
I think we meet her when she has cancer.
Did.
Yeah, because they have dinner in separate rooms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love that depiction of illnesses because she eats dinner in a separate room sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes she does, like, it's really unclear. The movie never says, like, does she just do that because she's, like, exhausted? Because, you know, I could see that being different on some days. Or does she, like, have to quarantine for some particular purpose? And it's like, the movie never addresses it. It just, like, it's very interesting how they deal with her illness in that movie. Another trope that we love that comes up quite a bit, the Atheists' Tragedy. So we found out from watching all these movies, a big lesson we've learned is if you're an atheist, there's a reason. Okay. Like by default, you understand like God is there. Like, come on. Like we know this. So if you've made the choice to be an atheist, then you're doing it rebelling directly in the face of God.
Yeah. It's likely out of spite.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen a portrayal of atheism in a Christian movie that is not the hatred, the acknowledgement of a God and the hatred of her. Okay. Don't at me. Yeah, it's never that they don't believe in God. It's that they hate God.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one can at you because I'm the only one on Twitter. I'm the image of the Marine taking all the bullets for the people sleeping in a bed. At Ash Nerve on Twitter, follow me. I'm taking all the bullets of people's online rage and resentment, so you can sleep soundly in your beds.
Thank you.
But Let There Be Light, of course, a great example. Sorbo as the rock star atheist, he's giving his Richard Dawkins style like debate or lecture on the fact that God doesn't exist, and then he's making all these points, and at the very end, and he's like, if God existed, then why would he do that to my son?
But don't you dare tell me about the love and the compassion of your so-called God. Because if he felt like sacrificing his only begotten son, well, that's his business. but he should have bloody well kept his hands off of mine.
And it's like, really saying the quiet part loud there, man.
He plays the same character, and we didn't cover it, but God's Not Dead.
Right.
He does. Yes.
With the exact same like attitude towards God, which is like, oh, I don't believe in God. And then like a third of the way through the movie, it's, I hate God. I'm going to attack and dethrone God.
Different car crash results, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. God's Not Dead. So yeah, it came out in 2014. A couple years, obviously, it was like 5 years before we started the pod, and it's pretty popular. It's pretty well known, even outside of like Christian film enthusiast circles. So for that reason, we haven't covered it yet. But there's a lot of great moments. If you've seen that film, which I hope as many of you have. If you haven't, definitely check it out. But yeah, there's also Sorbo playing the exact same atheist character as Let There Be Light, except for he's like a college professor. It contains the famous scene of Sorbo saying, to pass my class, you have to write the word God is dead on a piece of paper and sign it. But also that movie, the car crash in that movie kicks ass because, spoiler, Sorbo gets hit by a car and David A.R. White comes up and like just does not call 911, like just sees him on the ground and is like, oh yeah, this guy's a goner. Do you accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior? And it's like, someone call the fucking ambulance, man. This guy's like bleeding out.
He gets like knocked like 50 feet into the air.
Oh my God. So good. And yeah, those are the main tropes I wrote down. Any other ones off the top of your guys' head you can think of?
I mean, there's usually like women are just humans compared to men, almost always.
That's so true.
A woman's life is always done in relation to the man in her life.
And if you're an independent woman, you are kind of a Jezebel character a lot of the time.
Yes.
Yeah, there are no like openly gay people, just catty, evil theater people conniving behind your back.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, there's characters, and the movie never really like addresses it or condemns it, but there are like either goofy at best or sinister at worst, like homosexuals peppering the bit parts of some of our movies. In Let There Be Light, the absolute compendium of all tropes. There's his like agent.
Darling, you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I heard that you killed in that debate. Killed it.
Who's like, darling. He's like not exactly gay. Like in the movie,
you can't be Christian. You simply won't sell any books. Also, like a really bad agent.
One of the worst.
Not be able to see the cash cow right in front of him.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on.
The theater teacher in Last Ounce of Courage.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's another one, putting on the winter play.
And careful with the little outfits. Those are not trash bags. Very, very expensive. Okay.
Yes. Who, in a funny turn of events, is the director, if I'm not mistaken. He actually cast himself.
No, he wrote the.
Oh, the writer.
Wrote
The writer. He actually cast himself.
Also has
as
some
the gay
sort
guy.
of suspicious relationship with the principal, who's also a little effeminate.
Right. In The Overcomer, or maybe it's just called Overcomer, there is a somewhat gay coded theater teacher as well.
Yeah.
And,
the best kind.
Yeah.
Let's go.
John.
You're not teaching next hour, right?
All right.
Great. I need you to be a judge for drama monologues.
Drama monologues. I got history papers to grade.
Yeah. History's already happened, and I really need 3 judges. Come to drama class.
My theater teacher in high school was married to one of the other teachers in the school, and he had slept with her when she was a student.
Love that.
And then they got married.
That's
and
like,
he got fired for trying to put on the play Bat Boy.
Really?
And to tie this into our little podcast, they fired him and put on Godspell instead.
Oh, well, they made the right decision. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Listen, as a Christian, I support age gap relationships, but I do not support Bat Boy the musical, and I will put that on the record. Yeah. So these are patterns that come up in a lot of our films. Before we get to our special Bible Boy Awards ceremony, the other background I wanted to put in this podcast, because now that we've spent a year going over these films, we already sort of knew in our heads among the three of us that there's a couple like major players and figureheads who dominate the scene. And we've covered them along the way, but I wanted to like formally introduce anyone who might be new to the show to some of the biggest guys. I wish I could say guys and girls, but it's a very male dominated scene, at least at the higher levels. There's one notable exception. I want to talk about Barbara, but first, who is David A.R. White?
He's the king. He's the mogul.
The king.
Malibu Dan, Family Man, and Beckman.
And Beckman.
Welcome back. Or should I call you Reverend now?
Just Beckman.
As you wish.
Well, the Family Man part, he did, he and his wife separated this past fall.
Really?
Are you kidding me?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you guys, but since we're here.
Yeah.
What in the world?
I know.
I
know.
This year during coronavirus?
Yes. After doing that Love in the Time of Coronavirus show this past summer. Or whatever.
Well, he played a
it's
single
called.
dad in that. So maybe he knew what was coming.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Um,
That was his way of saying he's on the market.
Well, whatever
That
the
sucks.
reason was.
For them. I mean, maybe it's better for them.
Well, yeah. I mean, he said they like worked on it for years and it just wasn't. I forget what he said. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he wasn't shitty about it. I mean, maybe he was in person. I don't know. But he's great. We love David A.R. White.
Yeah.
I love how he's willing to do any role in a movie. He's really a guy who's like, let's just get it made. Let's shoot right now. I'll do this. You do this.
Yeah.
He'll direct if he has to, write if he has to, star in any type of role.
I believe, if I recall correctly from the YouTube documentary we watched about David A.R. White, is that he was a struggling actor. He's from Kansas, I think, and he grew up in a conservative Christian family, moved to Hollywood, couldn't get any roles, or maybe he thought that it wasn't, Hollywood wasn't Christian enough for him. So he turned to Christian cinema. I think he got a start in Second Glance, a Christiano Brothers movie. And from there, it was just a rocket to heaven. He is the founder and CEO of PureFlix. Maybe he's not the CEO, but he is the founder. And the executive producer on every PureFlix entertainment movie. And he really uses the platform as a way of just doing, like you said, every role that he wanted to do. He's like comedy. He'll make a comedy Christian movie. He wants to be a badass. He'll make Revelation Road and Beckman.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wanted to be Mad Max, so he made Revelation Road, and then he wanted to be John Wick, so he made Beckman.
So cool. Oh,
yeah.
I love how versatile he is. I just wanted to say, when you said that documentary, are you referring to Pure Flix and Chill?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. So Anthony Banua Simon, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. He's in the Boys Bible Study community. That film is amazing. We're actually we've been talking about having Anthony on for months. I really hope we can do it soon. But shout out Anthony and check out Pure Flix and Chill. Anyone who likes Boys Bible Study, it's a really great found footage documentary about the rise of David A.R. White. A really good compendium of knowledge about him, who is maybe arguably the biggest name in Christian cinema.
And we do have confirmation from a friend who worked on the crew for Malibu Dan, Family Man, that at least we can confirm that David A.R. White is nice to work with, is a really nice guy.
Oh, that's great.
In a working environment. I don't know what's going on in his personal life, and I'm not going to say anything good or bad, but he is nice to work with.
Nice. Love to hear that. Another major player. Let's talk. We already talked about him a bit, but let's talk about Kevin Sorbo. because I've got to say, so I feel like, I don't follow David as much. I love him, but I feel like, you guys had some great knowledge on him. I'm actively involved in watching Kevin Sorbo and his family online. I think he's a genius, and I would love to talk about him. First of all, I mean, those eyes. I mean, come on. And he's very unusual in that he tends to be typecast as like the rebel or like the bad guy in a Christian film. Often it's a bad guy who comes to Jesus, but still, he plays the heel, I guess you could say. He's often the heel in these movies, opposite David A.R. White, who's, more of a face, to use pro wrestling terms. Writer, director, star of Let There Be Lights, star of God's Not Dead. The other cool thing about Sorbo is he's very politically active, let's just say.
Looking at his tweets right now.
Oh, like what? What's he saying?
I'll give you the last 12 hours of tweets.
Okay.
Number one, it's been almost 10 months. Shouldn't the non-mask wearers be dead?
Sorry.
God, that's not how it works. God damn it. All right, go on.
Yeah, and I've got news for you. There are millions of people across the world who are dead from coronavirus.
Yeah.
Number two, the government took 8 months to give Americans $600, and people are out here supporting socialism.
I mean, hear him out. Let's hear him out.
Yeah.
I don't understand that one. Go on.
I think he's making some leaps there.
Yeah, we would have to have socialism for that statement.
Yeah, exactly. And number three, 6 hours ago, replacing Donald Trump with Joe Biden is like replacing the hatch on a submarine with a screen door.
That's pretty cool. You know what? That's anti-Polish racism. I really don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
You ever heard that Polish joke?
You know what, though, Julian? We learned something recently that Braden Sorbo, his oldest son, actually runs Kevin Sorbo's Twitter account.
So we got that. I want to say shout out to our friends at I Need God in Every Moment of My Life. We're hoping to have them on in the future. Best Instagram account.
Best meme account on Instagram.
Honestly, in all of Instagram, Christian or non, it's the best. Shout out to Melanie and Yaki, who we're going to have on soon. But Melanie, I think, was saying that she highly suspected that Braden was running Kevin's account. You know what? If that's true, like, go off, King, because he's doing a great job. But I don't know. I just feel like it's something about it just doesn't add up. Like Braden, who I follow intently, is like a TikTok star. He has like over 1 million followers on TikTok now because he's like a handsome like 19-year-old who like takes pictures at the beach and posts things like, guess what my favorite color is, and people really like it. If he's like clever enough to come up with the tweet of the year, shout out to the tweet of 2020 that I'm stalling so I can find it in his feed. Let me find this here. Oh, where the fuck did it go? Did he delete it? Sorry, give me 1 second.
Good
here.
for Twitter. Jack took it down.
Listen, that would be against freedom. Here it is. I found it. Okay, it's not deleted. On November 28th, Kevin Sorbo said, "We're locked down for our own safety. So was Jeffrey Epstein. Just saying." I've like
incredible
in like 15 words or whatever, maybe less. He just blew the lid on this entire thing. He's a fucking genius. Also a staunch libertarian. He's made several films that are like libertarian propaganda. Alongside Night, he co-produced with his wife Sam, who's very, very good in these movies, a major player as well. Honestly, alongside Night, I hope we might cover it one day, but one of my favorite movies, like literally one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's genius.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Lots more we could say. In the interest of time, now we don't cover this guy as much. We haven't yet, honestly, because his movies, well, he has some good ones, but we have, sometimes more interesting ones on our plate. But let's just briefly mention Kirk Cameron. What's going on with him? He's been in the news lately.
Very important figure. Stays in the news. stays with attention on him. He's been in the news lately because he's been having like giant outdoor gatherings that are like supposed to be for worship, but end up being these big maskless super spreader events.
Yeah. The man is a super spreader. I will say that. And you know, he recently did this like COVID Christmas caroling thing, which, you know, was very controversial, I guess. But you know, he's like he loves the controversy. We follow him on the Boys Bible Study Instagram, and although I haven't counted, from what I can tell, he's been releasing like statements about it like once a week for the past like 4 fucking weeks or whatever. It's like, give it a rest. But you know, every time he does it, it makes the libs mad, and you know, that's good for him. So
he's a super spreader of Christ, of Christ's love and word.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest missionaries of all time in the way that he super spreads the message of Christ. Like just like a little aside to, you know, anyone listening who I feel like our audience like knows what's going on, but you know, these people just want to trigger the libs. Like, if the best thing to do is just like not be bothered by them. Like, you know, it doesn't change the fact that like Kirk Cameron is like shitty, but it's just like, what can you do? Like, he's out here. All you can really do is, at least I can say, is appreciate his movies. We're definitely planning on covering A Little Piece of Heaven in the future.
Fantastic movie. I'm very excited for that one.
That's my favorite that I've seen of his. Fireproof is really iconic. I do hope we do that at some point. Where he's a fireman.
Fireproof is like his God's Not Dead, I'd say.
Yeah.
Fireproof is to Kirk Cameron what God's Not Dead is to Kevin Sorbo.
Is that still the biggest Christian movie of all time?
Fireproof? I think it's the biggest. I think it's the biggest.
It's the biggest movie of
made
all time.
Off of budget compared to budget
of every movie ever, right?
Even more than Blair Witch Project.
Yeah,
I've never heard that statistic.
Let's just say it.
Yeah, let's say it.
I don't know. I don't know that. Don't quote me on that. Don't at me.
Is Blair Witch Project a Christian movie? What do y'all think?
It's anti-witch.
Yeah, it's anti-witch. You know,
yeah.
To what degree is that Christian? It's hard to say, but
I mean, the Bible's when they lost the map. That's kind of like,
if you don't read the Bible
with this.
You know what though? Yeah, if you don't bring your Bible along, did you ever have the map?
Right.
Okay, it's the highest grossing independent film of 2008. That's all I can find.
No, that's not bad.
It only cost $500,000 to make, which I don't believe. I think, you know, this is one of those things where these Christian movies, they know how to do it. They call in a lot of favors from their churches.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the hustle.
They know how to fudge the numbers.
So they did not have to pay for that fire department, I am sure.
Right. Yeah, they got like real fire trucks and shit. You know, that was volunteer. And like all the like movies that are like catered, you know, by things. It's like, wow.
Yeah. They go to small towns where people like don't know that these people are making a ton of money off of these movies.
Right.
Yeah, like an Overcomer, like at the track meet, the amount of people who were actually there was actually way too many. They're like, oh yeah, I guess the whole church showed up for this one.
It's
it is
like
a nice
football
day.
stadium full of people for a high school track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For cross country race.
Yeah.
Let us also mention another power player. Let's talk about Ray Comfort.
Okay, this is one that everybody has to know. He's the banana guy.
He's the banana guy.
Behold, the atheist's nightmare. Now, if you study a well-made banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 ridges. On the close side, 2 ridges. If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 grooves, on the close side 2 grooves. The banana and the hand are perfectly made one for the other. You'll find the maker of the banana, Almighty God, has made it with a non-slip surface.
He famously says often that a banana is the symbol of God's influence on the world because the banana is perfectly designed. It is, you know, you can hold it in your hand. It has a handle. Like what am I supposed to tell you? I mean, you know, this has been, not to sound like an amazing atheist. I mean, this has been debunked into the ground. I mean, literally like generations of human crossbreeding to create the domestic banana, which, you know, it does not grow wild in that form, or did not originally before it was, you know.
Yeah, listeners, you may or may not have noticed that foods generally don't have handles.
Right.
You have to prepare them in a way to that they conform to being edible to humans.
I thought he admitted he was wrong.
I didn't hear this. I hope he didn't. I never walk it back.
Wait a minute. By his own admission, he's a liar?
Have you had sex out of marriage?
Yeah.
So, Fernando, you've told me you're a lying thief, a blasphemer, a fornicator, and an adulterer at heart. So if God judges you by the 10 Commandments on Judgment Day, you're going to be innocent or guilty?
Pretty guilty guy.
This is where you fake Christians come in. You just listen to one half of the argument. Yeah, he said he was full of shit. He was just fucking around. He's not actually Christian. You just want to. Yeah,
I was just fucking around. You see, I was just having a bit of a laugh. It's
a bit of a social experiment, mate.
It was a bit of a flash mob. We love him because he's a New Zealand king. He's a Kiwi king, and he.
The third Concorde.
And we love him because his films are great. We watched one, Christmas Gone Viral, but he has so many, and they're all free on YouTube. Search Living Waters on YouTube. You can watch. His films are aggravating because they have a brief like narrative section, and then the rest of it is just him with a camera in Los Angeles, just trying to psychologically intimidate people into saying on camera that they believe in Jesus, so he can chalk it up to a conversion. But he has this amazing, like, it's just so funny if you watch him interview anyone. It's like he does this thing where he's like, so what do you think about this? And the person's like, what? And he just like cuts him off and just like starts talking over them. And then he always goes, have you ever told a lie, even a white lie? So by your own admission, you're a liar. Have you ever stolen anything? Have you ever taken anything that's not yours? So by your own admission, you're a thief. He kicks so much ass.
And these are all heavily edited too. So what I think is really cool is that he's the only filmmaker I can think of that is firmly rooted in the doxploitation genre.
Yes.
Where he's like exploiting people's concept of what is the truth in the way that you present something.
Also, like a lot of times, I would say 99% of the people he interviews are just like clearly like get into this discussion thinking it's going to be funny, like a goofy thing because they're bored, and then by the end of it they're just saying whatever he wants to hear to end the conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
I also just found out that he did post a video where he said that he did not know that there was a lot of like crossbreeding and human interference to make the banana the way it is that we know it. We city slickers know it.
Right.
But he has since made that video private.
Okay.
He admitted he was wrong.
See, if I were him, I would have flipped that and said that these humans were inspired by God, so it's even more proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living Waters needs better PR. By the way, I sent him a request through his website to come on our podcast, which he did not return. So maybe one day. But let's just skim through these last couple more minor players. But I wanted to mention who are the Christiano Brothers? Well, they're not exactly minor players; they're pretty major. But who
are major players?
Yeah, who are the Christiano Brothers?
They're like the godfathers of Christian movies, right? And I don't mean like the godfather of Christian movies. I mean like, you know what I mean.
They're the earliest guys I can think of that are out there specifically trying to make fully Christian movies, unabashedly Christian movies that still have like that twinkle of movie magic to them. These are guys who really love the cinema. And they really propped up David A.R. White's career, as we mentioned earlier, because he was doing like random TV bit parts here and there. But once he did Second Glance, that really helps him come into his own as he can be a Christian filmmaker in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
They never slowed down making movies either. They've been doing this since when did Daylight Zone come out? 1986.
1986. Yeah. They've been doing it for almost 40 years. 40 years I've been making Christian movies.
Feel old yet? These are the Cristiano Brothers now.
We got to watch A Matter of Faith. That was 2014, 1986 to 2014, and they got Play the Flute in 2019.
Yeah, I want to watch.
Yeah, I really want to see Play the Flute. That is way too unavailable. Is A Matter of Faith the one where the cover is a human hand reaching out with a finger to a monkey hand reaching out a finger? Oh,
yeah.
So
It's real good.
That kicks ass.
I've seen it. It's real good. Don't watch it before us or you're going to spoil the podcast, listeners.
Yeah, don't ever watch any movie that we haven't seen because we'll get mad.
Yeah. Don't tell us what happens.
Also, who are the Kendrick brothers? We mentioned them briefly. Another fabulous,
the gruesome twosome.
Another fabulous pair of brothers.
And twins. They're not twins.
They're the most prominent Christian sibling filmmakers of the 2000s, and their movies make real money, like mainstream money.
What's with these brothers?
Well, hey, Cain and Abel, Isaac
Cain
and
Abel. But
Esau.
these are brothers that love each other.
Yes. Well, I don't know. They don't always direct together.
The Kendrick brothers, the Cristiano brothers. Yeah, maybe they're like Oasis. We're going to find out by the end that it really was a Cain and Abel. David and A.R. White.
Kevin and Sam Sorbo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good things coming to
I believe. Okay, listen. Kevin and Sam make me believe that true love exists. Actually, you know what? A quick aside before we move on to the awards ceremony. I liked your theory Julian, when we were just talking on the phone the other day, and you said that you thought that Sam Sorbo is likely the brains of the Sorbo family. And you said that Kevin was like, I think your words were like, he's like
the Jezebel. I didn't say that.
You said he was like a dumb underwear model.
I think he's one of the stupidest people on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way. Well, he is a piece of shit from what I've heard on other people talking about working like he's a creep. He's a asshole. He's not a good guy, but he does do cameos for us and our friends. And I really think there's nothing going on up there, and that she is the one who's like super into like she's really into like conspiracy theories and shit on her Twitter. And
interesting.
Well, also shout out fellow podcaster Sam Sorbo. I looked at her podcast and like she has like 350 episodes and like there's like 9 ratings. Like only like 9 people hit the star button.
Didn't she start the podcast like a month ago?
No,
but she's got 350 episodes already?
Definitely not. No, well, definitely not a month ago. It's like it had to have been more than a year, but there was a period when she was updating like daily. But like 55-minute episodes, like the episodes are all 55 minutes long, which like that's actually difficult to do, like to like aim at this very particular length. To be fair, I haven't listened to any, but I was just struck by the amount of episodes. I can't remember when it started, but I was struck by the amount of episodes and how little interaction it had for someone who's like a pretty I mean, I would listen. I mean, it's just funny because like our numbers are.
You would, but you don't.
But I don't.
It's right there.
Well, yeah, because I don't feel the need to listen to our competition.
That's true. You don't want to be influenced.
We got to have her on the pod.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Also, her. I know we're supposed to be talking about the Kendrick brothers, but Sam Sorbo's Twitter. I think is on par with Kevin Sorbo's Twitter.
What did she say?
Mostly because all she does is just retweet Kevin Sorbo's tweets. That's it. All she does is retweet Kevin Sorbo's tweets and comment and reply to them and say things like "RT if you agree." Only Kevin Sorbo's account, and then the only other account she retweets is Moms for America.
Okay.
So she is. Oh, here's a Charlie Kirk tweet.
Well, I mean, he's the king. Well,
oh wait, here you go. Kevin Sorbo, December 15th. A communist Marxist sympathizer walks into a bar in California. The bartender says, "We don't serve minors."
That's actually pretty good.
And then it says, "Joke my son told me."
Oh, that's good. Oh, Braden's funny.
There's Braden's influence.
Oh my God, Braden's going to be huge Anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break after that spirited discussion about our faves. And we'll be right back with the, I guess I'll just call them the Bible Boy Awards. I didn't think of a better name than that. So the Bible Boy Awards.
The Golden Calf Awards.
Oh, the Golden Calf Awards. That's it.
Oh yeah, the
genius.
Calfies.
I'm back.
Welcome back. I was just reading some of Sam Sorbo's tweets.
Oh, dope. Any other bangers?
Here you go. On November 28th, she just said Trump won, and that's it.
Okay.
And then on December 4th, her only tweet for the day, Biden lost.
That's good. I mean,
Yeah.
Is she wrong?
I'm so fucking glad I'm not on this cursed website.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. I don't
Me
know
neither.
how you do it.
I have
But
fun.
God bless you. You're the saint amongst the sinners.
I'd rather laugh with the sinners than cry with the saints, as a great apostle once said. All right, we are back. Welcome to the Golden Calf Awards. Scott just came up with that name. I like it a lot better. Welcome to the Golden Calf Awards, where in this year that we've been doing the pod, we wanted to just really acknowledge the best of the best of a year's worth of films we covered. So we narrowed down short lists in several categories using all of the films that we've covered on both free or bonus episodes over the last year. That is what that's what all these films have in common. They can be from many different years or genres, but they're all ones that we have covered. So first, let's start with some genre film recognitions within the Christian landscape. The nominees for Best Musical. We have The Imposter, directed by Daniel Millican.
How about seepage? I've always liked the word seepage. In fact, seepage rhymes with sleepage. They've got seepage in the sleepage.
The film starring Kevin Max as a Christian superstar who loses his faith. We have 20 Minutes to Go.
Watch out for 666. Watch out for 666. In a vision of the future, I saw.
By Aurora Productions, the Children of God cult made their great conspiracy movie about nuclear war. We also have The God Cafe, directed by Stan Severance and Joe Herrera.
But the train that I look forward to will take me to the prize. Is a 316 paradise.
About a Christian musician who goes into a mysterious cafe and then does a lot of green screen performances. Lastly, I Still Believe. Directed by Andrew Irwin and John Irwin, starring Riverdale hunk KJ Apa as a famous Christian singer.
I Still Believe's the true story one, right?
Yeah, and I forgot who the subject of that was. Let me look it up.
Oh, Jeremy
Camp.
Yeah.
That was another cancer one, right?
Yes. Yeah, there's cancer in that one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. There's a sudden cancer in that one, too. How fun.
Fucking cancer culture.
I'm so tired of this cancer culture. Fuck.
Hey, I to me it's not even close. 20 minutes to go.
20 minutes to go. Let's give it to him.
All right, I didn't see half of these, so I abstain. The gentleman from Glendale abstains.
Yes, the Golden Calf tonight goes to 20 Minutes to Go. Absolute banger of a film. Colors, sounds, delight, sex. There's sexy, tantalizing moments, but still a strong Christian message. 20 Minutes to Go. Check it out.
Catchy tunes too. Great editing. It's on YouTube, folks. Check it out.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to our next category, Best Time Travel Movie. That's right. Time travel is a recurring motif in the Christian landscape. Let's see which one we like the most. First, we have the 2020 film Assassin 33 AD.
I get it. It's the ultimate jihad. Eliminate Christianity by killing Jesus before the resurrection. Muhammad just killed off every Christian that ever existed.
Why would Muslims do that? Makes no sense.
They wouldn't, but Ahmed's part of an extremist group.
This can't be happening. Jesus is God. He can't be killed by men.
About the Muslim extremist who goes back in time to kill Jesus. Then we have Time Changer.
What is this?
Something incredible.
Yes, but what is it?
It is a singularity chrono-displacement device.
I beg your pardon?
This machine can transport a person through time.
The film about a really boring guy from the 19th century who is appalled by the future. Then A Path
from the Cristiano Brothers.
Yes, from the Cristiano Brothers. Then we have A Path in Time.
7 miles under the surface of Antarctica, an ancient city lost beneath the ice. Your history books don't even have a name for it.
Which is about a teen who finds out his father is like a secret Christian time travel like agent. Hard to describe, but very good. And lastly, if you can count the other Cristiano Brothers short film, The Daylight Zone.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not of man but of God, in whose eyes there are no hidden secrets or dark corners, where everything is seen as the noonday. Your next stop is the Daylight Zone.
Where a man takes his car and drives somehow back into Bible times. What do we say? Of those, what is the best time travel movie?
I mean, I really like A Path in Time.
Yes.
Because of the... Is that the one? That's the one with the frozen Christian prison in the future, right? Okay, yeah, that's incredible. But, you know, you got to go with Assassin 33 AD. I got to go with Assassin 33 AD. That's just, that movie is so off the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think A Path in Time is probably the actual better movie to an extent. But Assassin 33 AD, I mean, how much of your brain has that filled up this year?
Yes.
As far as the movie's based in your brains goes.
I completely agree. You gotta like take its cultural context into consideration, and like Assassin like went outside of the Christian movie circuit and it became, you know, sort of a meme just in general film circles. A lot of people were really surprised by it, and it's crazy plot when it came out. I'd say let's give the golden calf to Assassin 33 AD.
Yeah. Congratulations. Doesn't time travel kind of like refute God's existence? I don't know.
Well,
we did get into that on the Path in Time episode.
It's not like Aliens.
Right. It's folks, become patrons and listen to the Path in Time episode where we get into the heresy of time travel in Christian movies.
Yes, we do. We deeply do. In our next genre film category, Best Christmas Film. That's right. Christmas, of course, the high holiday of Christianity. We just made it through December, where we covered some Christian films all month. Here's our tops. Number 1, Thomas Kincaid's Christmas Cottage.
I was painting the leaves of the forest. I never saw the light of the sky behind it. Now I see it.
Directed by Michael Krampus, the story of the young adulthood of legendary American artist Thomas Kincaid. Then we have, making another nomination appearance, The God Cafe.
Every fool going about with Merry Christmas on his lips. He boiled in his own pudding.
Buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Directed by Stan Severance and Joe Herrera, about a crazy cafe that brings back a minister's faith on Christmas. Then we have Christmas Unwrapped, a now basically out-of-print DVD by Pastor Greg Robbins.
Jesus was born to Mary. Now, this was no ordinary birth. She was a virgin, yes, really.
Sort of a pseudo-instructional documentary on how to have the best Christmas ever. And finally, the heater coming in, Christmas Gone Viral, directed by Ray Comforts.
What kind of degree do you have?
I've got a BA in I'm born again.
The incredible New Zealand minister. I have a pretty clear pick, and I think it might be Julian's as well.
I definitely know what Julian's pick is.
You are about to be very surprised.
Really? What is it? What do you think?
I gotta say, I didn't see God Cafe.
Yeah.
This is probably I'm probably the most accurate representation of an actual like Academy of Motion Picture voter, in that I haven't seen 80% of the movies on this list.
You've seen no more than that.
But I do know Thomas Kincaid's Christmas Cottage is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But in terms of a Christmas movie, I'm torn between Christmas Unwrapped and Christmas Gone Viral, because I just feel like those encapsulate the Christmas spirit of today's zeitgeist.
Yes, it captures zeitgeist.
Yeah, this is the most viral Christmas we've had yet.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I gotta go with Christmas Unwrapped, just because it was so all over. It was just really encapsulated the manic spirit of desperately trying to like your life's falling apart, and you just think that Christmas is going to solve everything. And that's where I feel Greg Robbins was coming from when he made his like 8 different 10 minutes of a movie and then put them all together with a tutorial on how to make like ants on a log or whatever the fuck they do in that movie.
Yeah. When he says Christmas is not about consumerism, but here's the things you can do for roughly $1,000 to make the best Christmas
you're gonna
ever.
have to buy $1,200 worth of Christmas lights for the 8th day of Christmas, which is on January 3rd, by the way. And don't forget to light your Christmas tree on the 5th of January.
And best portrayal of Santa. That's not an award we have today, but if it was,
I think that's
Christmas
the one that
Unwrapped.
puts it over the top.
Do not put me in the center, for I am but a humble servant of the one that is. And then I bow down to worship.
I've got to say, you talked me into it. I think Christmas Unwrapped gets the Golden Calf Award for Best Christmas Film. Congratulations to Pastor Greg
Spoiler,
Robbins.
he's not on the Best Actor list, but I think now that you mention it, Greg Robbins' portrayal of Santa Claus is the biggest snub of the year. He's this Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems.
Well, so we've covered some of our favorite genres, and there's so many films to recognize, but I would really love to get to the people who light up the screen that we know and love. We're gonna actually identify some actors and actresses soon, but first, as far as character portrayals, let's talk about the most adulterous Jezebel, or maybe the most fun Jezebel. We see the Jezebel trope appear many times, and it tends to be like one of the only parts of a Christian film where female characters get to shine, being like the little like hussy who's like trying to
wears red lipstick, has a red car, talks about boys.
So let's run down some of these actresses who specifically delighted us by portraying Jezebel type figures in Christian films this year, or that we covered this year. First, Amy Levenhagen as Jade Benson in The Penny, a red lip wearing high school sweetheart who almost leads our protagonist to her demise. Next, we have Jessica Banuelos as Erin in Breaking the Press.
So, what do you think, country boy?
You look great.
I know that.
Which one is she? Like the popular girl? Oh yeah, the popular
pool
girl
party,
who's into the
right?
basketball player. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she like completely fucks up his career.
Chews up our prodigal son and spits him out.
It's amazing. And next we have an anonymous actress as the coworker in The Prodigal Returns. Now she's anonymous because The Prodigal Returns is a Jehovah's Witness film, and those guys notably do not provide any credits or identification of the production team or actors at all. But we got to recognize her because her role as the secular babe who takes our protagonist's virginity, allegedly, in The Prodigal Returns is worth
Is that
nominating.
when he goes and cries in the rain?
Yeah, he has sex and then he cries in the rain.
Exactly.
It's so sick. So sick.
Yeah, we should go.
No, that's crazy. It's pouring outside.
You'll just get soaked. David, please don't go home tonight.
Next, we have Mary Bell Cheney as Woman of the Dark in The Saber.
I noticed you among the young men, so I came out to meet you.
Directed by Barbara Sundstrom, the anti-porn film about a young Marine. Last nomination, Kirsten Warren as Tanya in Thomas Kincaid's Christmas Cottage. Tanya's the beauty queen in town who is vain, right?
Yeah, and always showing cleavage.
Yeah, she's cool. I like her.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to run for Miss Placerville again and throw the switch on that Christmas tree.
Tanya, you ran in 1974 and you won.
I know.
You can't run again. You got to give somebody else a shot.
But no one ever did turn on a tree the way I turned on a tree. Now, did they, Ernie?
I have. I'm actually torn. Can I tell you who's my two? I'm torn between.
Yeah, go for it.
Sure.
I'm torn between Jade Benson from The Penny and The Woman of the Dark. Jade, I pick because to me she's like the most cliche Jezebel. Like she's like, do you think I'm wearing too much makeup? And it's like, yes, you are, honey. And she's like a high school girl. But I mean, The Woman of the Dark is such a unique role. Mary Bell Cheney is beautiful and compelling in her role as the fantasy woman who represents the spirit of pornography in The Saber. Those are my two. What do you guys think?
It's tough because it's similar to the best time travel movie situation where like Assassin 33 AD is like just completely bananas. You're in love with what's happening on the screen, but A Path in Time is probably the actual better thought out, planned out movie with like purer motives. Similarly here, I think Jade is the prototype of the Jezebel character in the movies that we watch. While the Woman of the Dark is just, I mean, she's amazing.
Yeah,
the Woman of the Dark.
What do you think?
I'm going with her. I'm going with
the Woman of the Dark. What do you think, Scott? Can we get it? Let's do it.
Yeah. How can I not?
The Golden Calf Award for Most Adulterous Jezebel goes to Mary Bell Cheney as Woman of the Dark in The Saber. Congratulations, Ms. Cheney. Thank you for your work. Coming up next, every good faith-based movie sometimes needs the cultural legitimacy of an established actor or personality to really give it that clout to say, hey, Hollywood, hey, Holly Weird, we can do it better than you, okay? So this is the category for Best Cameo. I chose this being, some of these border between supporting actor, but I specifically put in people who have some sort of clout outside of the scheme of the movie and play a small part. So here are the 5 nominations for Best Cameo. Chuck Norris, the epic source of Chuck Norris jokes himself, as the cowboy type guy in Bells of Innocence.
I'm a watcher, a keeper of records. I think you prefer to call us angels.
Next, we have Michael Francesi, the former mob boss turned born-again Christian actor in Let There Be Light.
So the Romans, they got to find that body. And the Romans were Italians. Now, I know a little bit about that. When they wanted somebody to rat, they didn't mess around.
Third, another mafia legend, however, this time a fictional mafia legend, Vincent Pastore as a supporting actor in I'm in Love with a Church Girl.
I never figured you to be a religious guy, Nick.
Well, we really don't like that word religious, Miles. It's kind of like the word margin call in the stock market. I'd prefer Man of Faith.
Which is the movie that stars Ja Rule. Then we have acclaimed Christian author Frank Peretti cameoing in Hangman's Curse.
I don't know why, but I know where.
Which is a movie based on one of his own books. And lastly, acclaimed Fox News personality Sean Hannity making a cameo again in Let There Be Light.
What right do you have to impose your religious values onto somebody else?
Well, what right does ISIS have to cut people's heads off?
That's a powerful point.
Which is a very cameo heavy movie. We didn't even get to recognize Travis Tritt and Dionne Warwick, who appear in Let There Be Light. But what do you think, guys? Anyone have a clear favorite for the best cameo?
I know who I'm picking.
Who is it?
We had best cameo in secular cinema was Mike Francesa in Uncut Gems, and the best cameo in Christian cinema was Mike Francesi.
You know what? I actually, that was my first choice too. No joke. It's funny because like compared to the other people I mentioned, he's not obviously as much of a well-known name, but like his scene in Let There Be Light is insane. Like there's no need for his for Kevin Sorbo to be saved by like a mafia guy, just like out of nowhere. He goes to this church and this guy's like, "Hey, I'm Pastor Vinny," So Jesus was whacked.
Jesus gets whacked, right?
Well, I've never exactly heard it put that way, but yeah.
What happens next? Bada bing. The body disappears.
Like it's so cool. And like that's one of he steals the movie in a movie with so much insane shit that happens. It's actually my first choice too.
It's like the perfect Christian cinema cameo because it's a guy you would only know because if you were like a hardcore like Christian media consumer.
Right. Which we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Can we get a unanimous?
Oh yeah, it's unanimous. I would like to shout out Frank Peretti's performance in Hangman's Curse because it is really just peak classic mad scientist absurd levels of acting.
Weird.
I do think he was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, but Michael Francesi, I mean, he just shows up, is himself, and gets a soul saved, and that's that. Or baptized, I should say.
Absolutely.
I don't want to, fudge the numbers for anyone.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Francesi, on your Golden Calf Award. I must be loyal to my capo. Coming up next, we're getting into the big awards, people. Best Supporting Actor. Okay. Now here's our short list. There's so many to choose from, many memorable moments from these films. We somehow narrowed it down to 6. Here they are. First, we have Malcolm McDowell. That's right, the former Clockwork Orange actor, now more advanced in age, plays the devil who gets sued in the movie Suing the Devil.
You're not really Satan, are you?
Oh, and you're not Lukey Dookie, are you, idiot?
Well, you better have a bunch of good lawyers because I'm going to take you down.
You're a little pipsqueak. Do you know how insignificant you are? I mean, with one, I could send you off into the abyss.
Next, Gavin MacLeod, Christian movie legend, as Jonathan Sperry in The Secrets of Jonathan Sperry.
What's all that supposed to mean, Mr. Sperry?
If your enemy takes a piece of your pizza, offer him two.
About a sage old man who brings as many young boys as possible to Jesus. Coming up next, nominee Sam Sorbo, wife of Kevin, as Katie Harkins in Let There Be Lights.
And we can synchronize it with an app. And we'll contact NASA and ask them to shoot satellite images, like a selfie for God.
Let there be light.
And there's a social media component because we'll have people standing by in chat rooms.
Next, Sting, former pro wrestler Sting, as a mean businessman who finds a holy restaurant in The Encounter.
Nick, why are you fighting me? What have I done to make you hate me? Hate you?
You think I've given you enough thought to hate you? I hate federal regulators. I hate taxes. I hate sitting in coach.
Also, Chris Elliott. That's right. Comic actor Chris Elliott steals the show in Thomas Kincaid's Christmas Cottage.
You know, Tanya, when those photos came out, as president of the Chamber of Commerce, I got phone calls night and day, not to mention the organized protests in the street. I really don't think we want to go down this road again.
Arguably the best part of that film. And another anonymous Jehovah's Witness actor who plays the character of Al in The Prodigal Returns.
Then stop letting them mess with your head. This guilt, it's not healthy, bro. You're just gonna doom yourself to a life of working on other people's gutters and roofs.
His character he plays is a Jehovah's Witness guy, but who has a little too much ambition in the secular world, and it ends up proving his undoing. Whew. There's a lot going on there. I think I have a pick. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple I'd be happy with. I've got to go with Gavin MacLeod. And I hope I'm saying his name right. Gavin MacLeod, as Jonathan Sperry. He has so much gravitas, and he's created a character that is just stuck so firmly in my mind. I can't help but throw my vote in for him.
And he was a supporting actor in Time Changer, so
that's true.
Can't help but take that into consideration as well.
Oh shit. He's the guy, right? He is technically the time changer.
Yes, he's the guy with the time machine.
He builds a time machine.
Yeah, and but what do you think? I mean, there's many strong contenders here. My second choice is probably Al from Prodigal Returns. I think he does a marvelous job. He really embodies the character of the lost Jehovah's
Fence
Witness.
Rider.
Yeah, the fence rider. Yeah, that's true.
Technically, Jehovah's Witness also has no problem with a Christmas tree in his home. You do the math.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Any strong objections?
My top pick is actually Mr. Steve Borden, a.k.a. Sting, as Nick in The Encounter.
Pretty strong.
Oh, no.
Very strong.
I'm sorry. My number one is Malcolm McDowell in Suit Like the Devil.
Oh, man. There's so many good performances.
And my number two is Gavin MacLeod as Jonathan Sperry.
Jeez, now I have to give a number two.
But it's it's so close. All of them are so close.
I know.
Number
this is
one
really
and number
tough.
two are very close. And it's like a 4-way tie for number three with all these.
Right.
Well, I'm going to just go ahead and say Chris Elliott is nowhere near the running as much as I love him. But
yeah,
he got a Lifetime Achievement nomination in this category.
Good point. That's a very good point.
Also, it costs $100,000 to book him for a speaking engagement.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to find his email because I just want to ask him how he ended up in that movie.
Well, Kevin Sorbo is only $75 on Cameo, so
yeah. I wonder what Chris Elliott is on Cameo. You can just ask him that for $100 or whatever, $300. For the tiebreaker, I think my second pick is actually a tie between Al and Gavin MacLeod as Jonathan Sperry. So I think we got to give it to Mr. Sperry.
I think we do. You got to hand it to the guy. That is just one of the films that even when I'm trying to tell, outsiders, fence riders, you could say, about Christian films, if you show someone Jonathan Sperry, there's something so immediately compelling of his jolly yet sage, all-knowing performance, and his goal of just wanting to bring in as many young boys to the faith as possible. You just got to appreciate it,
and all the faces he makes.
Oh, absolute king of making faces. He's a very good facial actor. Well, yeah, only a couple more to go. We're really getting big here, folks. Actually, up next, Best Actor. Who is the best actor in a Christian film? Here is our short list. We have Marshall Teague as the perfect man, Bob Revere, in Christmas/Saving America movie, Last Ounce of Courage.
Young men and women are dying in foreign lands to preserve the freedoms that we enjoy every single day. Can you hear them? Just listen. It's their voices from the grave. They're wondering if they died in vain.
Next, Kevin Sorbo, the king himself, as Dr. Saul Harkins, the rock star atheist lecturer in Let There Be Lights.
You speak for the spirit in the sky, and I'm gonna cheerlead for sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Next, Ja Rule, the rapper turned Fire Festival promoter, starring in I'm in Love with the Church Girl.
I'm a changed man. Can't you see that? Oh, my bad. Of
course you can. You see everything, right? So what's the problem then? What do you want from me?
Additionally, Bruce Marchiano, as a role that he plays quite often in films, Jesus in The Encounter.
Remember, I have many wonderful things in store for you.
Where Jesus runs restaurants and he reveals himself as the movie goes on. Next, we have Greg Kinnear in Heaven is for Real.
He's 4. He's 4. He's so innocent. He can't be making this up, but everything he talks about is impossible. It is a massive adventure that he's created. He's talking about Jesus.
He plays the father of Colton Burpo, the young boy who famously went to heaven and back and wrote a book about it. And finally, Leighton Meester as Elisha, I guess. How did she say his name? Alicia. Right. It's Alicia and Elijah. Her brother's name, I think, is Elijah. Yeah. Leighton Meester as Alicia Springfield in Hangman's Curse.
No, you can't pray in school because then you'd be imposing your morality on me.
Okay, like now I'm bugging. If it's wrong for you to impose your morality on someone else, then aren't you imposing morality on me by telling me it's wrong?
Right and wrong should be left up to the individual.
You don't believe that, Teach?
Of course I do, and it's Carlson, Mr. Carlson.
My bad.
The high school Christian noir. What do we think? I have a there's a lot of I'll tell you my 1 and 2, okay? My number 1, Marshall Teague. I just really think that he is so watchable and he really sets a tone. My number 2, Bruce Marchiano. I think that he has so much gravitas as Jesus, and it's amazing that he looks like a normal but handsome guy, but there's something about him that screams Jesus, and that's a big shoes to fill in the Christian movie scene.
My 2 are different.
Let me hear them.
I think it's worth mentioning for Marshall Teague, though, that he was in another movie we watched this year, which is Amerigeddon, and he was great in that as well as a random small supporting actor, but very good.
And Bells of Innocence, lest we forget. He's the villain in Bells of Innocence.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's so good in that movie.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points for Marshall.
He's got his fingerprints all over this year.
He does.
Yeah. Julian, what were your first 2?
My number 1, I'll start from the bottom. Build up a little suspense. My number 2 is, I can't remember because they were so close. I think my number 2 is Marshall Teague. Mm-hmm. And my number 1 is Kevin Sorbo.
Oh, he's so good. I mean, he's so good.
Because he showed his whole range when he went from the amazing atheist to the enlightened Christian.
Yeah.
And everywhere in between.
That's so true. Honestly, hearing you say that, I'm like, fuck. Like he's the king.
There's a lot of good options here.
What do you think?
Yeah. There's no losers.
My number 2, so we can build it up a little. My number 2 is actually Leighton Meester. I thought she really made a lot of times with Christian movies when they take place in high school. I'm like, okay, who is in charge of making this look like a real high school?
Right.
Feeling like a real high school. She, as we know, is in Gossip Girl. Completely destroys the role. She's fantastic in it. Owns her lib teacher very memorably.
Yeah.
She's my number 2 in Hangman's Curse. This movie doesn't work right without her. Wild movie. Check it out.
Yeah.
Number 1, though, and therefore our winner of the Golden Calf, Kevin Sorbo.
Let's give it to him. Oh,
yes.
Let's give it to him.
Give the people what they want.
I agree. And yeah, I mean, in some ways, the ultimate Christian film, the ultimate Christian performance, there's not enough good things you can say about the character he creates in that film. So I would say the Golden Calf Award for Best Actor in a Christian movie covered by Boys Bible Study in 2020 is Kevin Sorbo. Congratulations,
it's
Mr. Sorbo.
Time to reopen America.
I agree. Many are saying this. Let's move on to Best Director. Now, I specifically, in the interest of covering as many movies as possible, I wanted to do all different options from Best Picture, so we could talk about a variety. However, I think that all these directors have really unique sensibilities on the movies that they made. So let's recognize them now. Our nominees for the Golden Calf for Best Director of a Christian Film. We have Matt Mitchell, the director of Prey 2.5.
Self-made people who said, I don't need that. My life is fine. I'm doing great. I've got a great job. I got a great family. And that's true. You may be fine for now.
One of the very few Christian horror directors, and his knowledge of secular horror movies makes very compelling Christian horror. Coming up next, the Queen, Barbara Sundstrom of Crosswind Productions, for her work on anti-porn film The Saber.
When I was in junior high, my older brother got into that stuff.
What stuff?
Pornography, like you.
And every other guy.
Not every other guy, just the stupid ones.
Yeah, thanks. Look, I'm busy. If you're so concerned, go talk to your brother.
Sure, if I could. But he's in prison. He and these other guys got into illegal pornography.
Yeah, that's not me.
Oh, no? Maybe someone should check your computer.
Also, the director of many short films that we've watched this year. Coming up next, a husband and wife team, Jurgen, is that how you say that name? Jurgen Paretsky and Stacy Paretsky for their work on I Believe.
Ryan, are you reading a Bible? If your dad sees this, he's going to be so disappointed in you.
But Mom, it's super amazing.
Didn't I tell you not to read the Bible?
Dad, it's super interesting.
The film about the young boy who has a supernatural ability to perform miracles. Next, Mike Norris, son of Chuck, director of Amerigeddon.
I'm doing what they told me to do, man. I'm a crisis actor.
The film about how rich people will survive the end of the world. And finally, Michael Cargyle, the director of Christian Fast and the Furious equivalent, Lay It Down.
Petey, I gave my life to Christ. I can't race anymore.
You're just messed up because your head got banged around.
No.
You're afraid because you almost died.
I was afraid, but I'm not anymore. Death has got nothing on me now.
Which, not as much of a big name as some other people, but, Lay It Down had some really fascinating methods of storytelling in it that I think made it one of the most solid films we've seen this year. What do you think? I have a number one, I've got to say, but does anyone want to go first?
I would just like to. Oh yeah, go please.
No, I have a clear number one in my head.
Me
So
too.
you go ahead.
Wonder if it's
you have
different.
something
I
to
have
say,
a clear
say it now.
number one as well, but I just wanted to say that I feel like the two of the directors in this list that are the most that I would call auteurs above anyone else, and just put in the general like people I think of as auteurs, whether it be Christian or secular, whatever, are Barbara Sundstrom and Matt Mitchell. They both have such a particular, like from movie one through the end, like such a particular like look and feel and vibe to their movies.
That's so true.
But Barbara Sundstrom's my number one. She's my
Me
number
too.
one.
Me too. What do you think, Julian?
I'm going with Barb.
We got to go with Barbara Sundstrom.
Get you, Barbara.
We're going with Barbara Sundstrom. Like, not enough good things to say about her. First of all, one of the few like female directors that we get to encounter in this genre. But the strength of her work has like nothing to do with like her identity. Like, she really rises above the pack. She has such a unique voice, and everything she does is so solid, and to me sets like the blueprint of like what it means to make a Christian film. I really think she's a genius. I hope we get to talk to her one day.
She won it when she cut in the Marines commercial where they're fighting the dragon.
Yes. Into her movie.
A
genius touch. A simply genius touch.
And then threw her title over it. Like literally took a frame from that commercial and then put the title The Saber over it.
Oh,
So awesome.
That is some like, I don't even know what wave of cinema that is. It's genius. Barbara Sundstrom, congratulations on your Golden Calf Award. All right, here we go. We're picking the best picture that we've watched this year. All of the ones on this list are ones that have been mentioned either directly or indirectly so far in our discussion because they're that compelling. These are the 6 films that could potentially be the Boys Bible Study Best Picture. Number 1.
Judgment Day.
It's Judgment Day, y'all. Let's go. Who's the Alpha and the Omega after all? We're about to find out. Number 1. We've already said so much about it. Let There Be Light.
It's not your time. You must go back.
But I don't want to go back. I want to stay here with you.
Daddy. Let there be light.
Directed by Kevin Sorbo. Up next, The Encounter.
How many people are going to blow themselves up in your name today in the Middle East?
In my name, none.
What about the people that blow up abortion clinics?
I've never once asked anyone to blow up an abortion clinic.
Directed by Christian legend David A.R. White, about Jesus's restaurant. Third, The Secrets of Jonathan Sperry.
Stand closer to the tombstones and listen very carefully now.
But I'm still not hearing anything.
Put your ear to the stone. Why? Why didn't you tell me about Jesus?
Directed by Rich Cristiano, about the kindly old man who saves souls in his small town neighborhood. Up next, The Penny.
You phoned it tails up, didn't you? Just trying to get rid of an unlucky penny.
6 Lives, One Coin. The film where everyone who touches a certain penny gets their life altered by Christ in some way. In the 5 slot, Last Ounce of Courage, directed by Darrell Campbell and Kevin McAfee.
It's not that easy, kid. What are you doing?
I'm just one kid.
Well, I'm just one grandpa.
The perfect father and pharmacist and mayor. And lastly, I Believe.
I'm not a big fan of texting. Everybody seems to be doing it these days, except for me. Take out your cell phone, if you have one. Text 2 words, 2 simple words to somebody. I believe. If you do this, you're making a stand for Jesus Christ. Make it now while you still can.
Somewhat lesser known. There aren't as many big names, but like, wow, what a powerful film that features, among other things, a man who prays for his legs to grow back, and it actually happens on screen. Just simply incredible. I've never seen anything like it before.
A child getting shot.
Oh my God, yeah, that child just getting shot. When do you see that in a film? Oh, man.
In a Christian film especially.
Right.
Not often enough.
There's 2 for me. There's 2.
Yeah, same.
Want to hear them?
There is exactly 1 for me, but please
I just
go
like to
on.
say that every one of these movies is so perfectly representative of what we love about Christian movies that there are no wrong choices here.
I completely agree.
Yes. Yeah, actually, there's only one wrong choice. Were it to be on the list, Heaven Quest.
Yeah, don't watch that one.
Yeah,
well, that's why it's not on here. Don't waste your time.
What's your name? My name? You, sir, find yourself in the grandest of company. Well, practice. You're a worldly wise man.
That's right. We're giving the Ball, that's BAAL, the Idol Ball Award for worst movie we've ever seen to Heaven Quest, A Pilgrim's Progress, 2020. Really bad film. Notably the worst film we've ever covered. But not these 6. I'll tell you my 2. Let There Be Light, of course. Probably the first film, if I think, what's a Christian film to show someone? I think of Let There Be Light. My second, The Encounter, directed by David A.R. White. I really think that the way it tells a story and all the magical moments in the film, I mean, at this point I've seen it so many times that like the novelty's gone, but the first time I saw it, it was like jaw-dropping, the way the plot twists in that movie. The scene where they're like, oh, there's no more bread. And Jesus is like, look again. And they're like, whoa, there's bread. It's like, holy shit. Like, unbelievable. What do you think?
And it almost all takes place in a diner the whole time.
A chamber drama.
It, like, moves along. Yeah, chamber drama for sure. Beautiful.
I believe has the like insane miracle, like jaw-dropping miracles and genuine body horror that we love to see in these Christian movies. The Penny and the Encounter are like so good at showing the convoluted storylines we see in these films. The Secrets of Jonathan Sperry and Last Ounce of Courage are like the great examples of like toxic nostalgia.
No, that's great. Very well said.
Yeah.
But I think for my number one, the one that really has it all, and they defeat ISIS by pointing their cell phone lights up to the sky, is Let There Be Light.
Yup.
And that's the one, Last Ounce of Courage is the one that I've seen more than most movies, Christian or otherwise. And I really love it.
It's the one that started this pod.
It's the one that started the pod. But, I went to see Let There Be Light in theaters back when you could do that at like 10 a.m. in the Valley. And it was a religious experience.
Yeah.
It was incredible. There was church groups to my left, concealed carry people to my right, and I was stuck in the middle, biting my hand, trying not to laugh at the insane special effects and the genuinely shocking twists and turns, and truly an incredible ending. Yeah, what more can I say? It's the winner in my book.
You can say, let there be 4K DCP projection light on the silver screen in 2021. Well, it's obviously the winner, Let There Be Light, but I just want to say
yes,
that my favorite movie of this past year is not Let There Be Light. Let There Be Light would be tied for second with the brilliant The Encounter. I believe. That's proud. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
Y'all, I love it so much. It's my favorite movie we've covered.
It's to me, it's like it's the art house. Let There Be Light.
Yes,
and let's not forget, we probably could have thrown Tom Sizemore into that best cameo category.
Fuck.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that would have been good.
Actually. Well, he would have to. He would be nominated for, I believe, and Suing the Devil.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! His Suing the Devil. This guy does not look very good in that movie.
Got a coke addiction.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
That is being funded by his Christian movie roles,
allegedly.
He does not look.
Paycheck's a paycheck.
That's parody. So you can't sue me for defamation.
You can't sue the devil.
But let's just say his performance in these movies is very similar to Dennis Hopper in Human Highway. If you've ever seen that movie.
Well, I would say then, despite the hard choices we had to make, the Golden Calf movie for Best Picture goes to Let There Be Light. Congratulations to the whole Sorbo family. That was a lot of fun, boys. Very fun. I hope that anyone listening got inspired to check out some of these, maybe that you hadn't heard yet. I hope some of these caught your interest. They represent the best of the best of Christian cinema. And hey, another year of this podcast, we're going to have another big crop to choose from. Very exciting. Anything else we want to say before I do our sign off?
Check out the live stream. We got live streams.
That's true.
From this day forth and earlier, first Sunday of every month, which is today, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Today?
Yes. This is coming out today. If you're hearing this in the morning.
Twitch.tv/everythingisterrible666. We will be playing a surprise movie that if you listen to this podcast before and in time for the surprise movie, won't be that much of a surprise.
Right.
And the second Sunday of every month at twitch.tv/boys Bible study. We will also be streaming a movie 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Let's
every
go.
first and second Sundays of the month.
And speaking of streaming, Julian has just started his career as a Christian Twitch streamer, Christian Twitch game streamer. So, I know that you kind of do it spontaneously, but any preview on what you're planning next?
Oh, yeah. I found a graphic. What are these called? The games where it's like a graphic.
Visual novels? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, visual
novel that is based off a Christian Christian novel. I don't really want to say much more. I'll save it for the stream. You got to tune in. But there's a little bit of interesting stuff about this one. And then I will take any recommendations because it is kind of hard to find Christian games that work on Mac too. So
yeah,
I don't want to hear any of this PC Master Race stuff. Okay, we're working with Macs here.
Oh yeah. Well, please hit us up at Twitter, Boys Bible Study, Instagram at Boys Bible Study. Feel free to DM us if you have recommendations for that, and we'll be posting on there in advance when Julian plans his next stream.
And not just for video games. We really appreciate the movie recommendations as well. I know we haven't gotten to everyone's recommendations, but we thank you so much for telling us about more and more movies to watch because we want to watch all of them.
Yeah, it has absolutely influenced the course of the pod. We're very grateful for that. So keep them coming, please. Also, of course, we would love to shout out our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Bible Study. If you subscribe for $5 a month or more, you get access to our entire back catalog of bonus episodes, which we make at least 2 every month. So that catalog will continue to expand as the show goes on. Also, we give a special shout out to our patrons at the $20 tier. They are considered our patron saints. And we shout out every episode, Nicole, Russell, and Marissa. Consider pledging at their level if you want to be among their esteemed ranks.
We love you.
We do. We really do. Our outro music is Oh My God by mysterious pop singer Mary. Check out Mary's music on Bandcamp and Spotify. From myself, Ash, my co-hosts, Scott and Julian, all of us here at Boys Bible Study, we would like to say, peace be with you.
And with you.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I feel your love in me, it's coming from within. Oh my God, my devotion is so unwavering. Divine emotions when you enter me.